Hello and welcome to the Big Ideas Show. I'm Liu Batchelor and today I am very excited to be joined by the guys from Dr Legumes. And first up, it's James Lawrence. How's it going?
Yeah, really good, thank you.
Good. So in the second half, we're going to be hearing from your business partner, who is Desai, but you're up first. So can you give us a summary? What is Dr Legumes all about?
So Dr Legumes is a community interest company. We interact with the public and with the community to share a perspective of health and well-being, and we do this through food.
Awesome, sounds great, and I look forward to hearing more about it after these titles. This episode of the Big Ideas Show. This is the show all about bringing you the people behind some of those great projects and businesses that you might have heard about around town. We are in the Grand in Folkestone, who are our wonderful hosts today, and I also want to say a big thank you to our sponsors and contributors for helping us make this possible. Our theme is Food for Thought, and Dr Legumes, I couldn't not get you guys on for this theme. James, thank you very much for joining me.
It's a pleasure.
Good.
It is.
So, Dr Legumes, it's got a huge following, I think, around town, and I was really excited to be able to get you guys on because I've heard about it, but I have never met you guys before, so this is really exciting. Can you give us a bit more of a summary, an overview then, of kind of Dr Legumes from a values point of view to start us off, and then I want to hear a bit about more your story.
Yeah, of course. So I suppose our core value as an organisation is to promote a perspective of health and well-being. And we do this through talking about food and how it can really nourish the body and how it can nourish the mind as well. Yeah. So through this we communicate a physical perspective and a mental perspective of health and well-being.
I in particular, but I'm sure lots of people in Folkestone know about Dr Legumes. They've heard great things, but it's a great opportunity. I want to hear more about the values behind it. You've got a tangible kind of space, you've got a restaurant on the Harbour Arm, but what is it, the other bits that you do? You said you're a community interest company. What's the community element? What are some of the activities that you like to do?
So as a community interest company, our efforts are to really support our community. Having the restaurant helps us to facilitate that, but externally to the restaurant, we want to interact with lots of community groups through collaborations. Yeah. And this is really to engage with how food can have a direct impact on our physical well-being and our mental well-being. So we're creating workshops all the time. Okay. This is to really have a direct impact with people who can really take some great information about the foods they're putting into their bodies and how it can really nourish their bodies. Yeah. And we're also experimenting how we can really use food to interact with people in their lifestyles and how it can affect their mental well-being as well.
Definitely, and I really like this because I think it's something we're all becoming more aware of, but not everyone necessarily has the tools to know how to put that into practice. So it's wonderful that you're doing these workshops that allow people to tangibly go, right, yes, I want to make that difference.
Exactly, yeah. I mean, physical and mental well-being is something as an individual we go through on a daily basis. We question ourselves when we're putting a chocolate bar into our mouth, whether or not this is doing something good or bad to us. I mean, initially, it's very nice to get them pleasures, but do we really think about what it does to us if we eat so much of that all the time?
Definitely.
And so we're always questioning really how food can really affect our bodies, but there's not really a platform so much for people to learn about this. I certainly found out when leaving school that I was on my own to make decisions for myself about my lifestyle. And the influences around me were causing me to perhaps not be so healthy. It wasn't until I had a real close situation where my dad's health became quite bad that I realised that, the food that we put into our bodies can really have a direct impact on how we feel.
Definitely.
I was getting a lot of information, influenced about how food can help my dad day to day feeling better mentally. So yeah, that's where it began, I suppose.
Yeah. Was that the main inspiration, or kind of how has it developed since then?
Yeah, I mean, I suppose it was a big kickstart into me as an individual learning how food can really have an impact on my lifestyle. I was learning about how food can really contribute towards perhaps certain illnesses. My dad had diabetes, and this was type 2 diabetes. This is something that he developed. And it made me think about how he developed that, and particularly how he could change the way he eats to really have a positive impact and not affect that too much.
Yep. Brilliant. So your very much focus is like the health element, isn't it? But I know that the sustainability side is something that's a big kind of love for Lee as well, isn't it? And so from your perspective, how do you see the two merging together?
Well, I suppose they merge together very well because in order for us to be healthy, our lifestyles have to be sustainable. So I suppose having a balanced diet helps to do that.
Yeah.
And I think when you start to think about looking after your body in a sustainable fashion, you start to think about how everything else is sustainable in our lifestyles. So we started to think about the food production, and how food production really is something that can be sustainable, but it also can be unsustainable as well. And as an organisation, we really want to represent what a sustainable diet can be through our lifestyle choices, but we also want to represent how the production of foods can also be sustainable for our community.
Yeah.
You know, so feeding the community is an important thing. It's
Absolutely.
definitely something you want to do.
It's wonderful. I love the very holistic approach that you're taking to it to really make a huge difference to you guys. Like personally, I love the fact that it's you guys are the example, really, aren't you? And then you're taking that out to the community. So
Yeah.
it's a really good thing. And thank you very much. I'm going to say thank you to you, and we're going to come back after this break, and we're going to be talking to Lee to hear his side of the story. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Cheers. Welcome back to part 2 with the guys from Dr Legumes. Thank you to James Lawrence, and now second in the hot seat is Lee Desai. Hello.
Hey, how you doing?
Hello, I'm good. You?
All good, yeah.
Good.
Really good.
So, you guys are two sides of the same coin, aren't you, in Dr Legumes and Bring It Together?
Yes, pretty much. So, you know, as I guess a duo, you know, an interest was sparked in both the health and well-being aspects of the business and how we can utilize food to have a positive impact on our direct environment.
Yep.
You know, we share a lot of similarities in terms of what we're passionate about. We both discovered that we could use our talents for cooking in a better way,
Okay.
one that doesn't necessarily just positively impact the business owners that we work for, being the first thing. And we thought, you know, creating an environment where it was fun food to work with. We work with only plant-based ingredients with what we do. And just to create that kind of environment in Folkestone and give people really an opportunity to come and eat food without really having to think about what they're doing too much.
Yeah.
When we look at the sector of plant-based food, it's something that's very new at the moment, but also it's probably the fastest growing sector of the food industry. So as you were saying earlier, you know, we're all becoming a lot more aware of what we're putting into our bodies,
Yeah.
the, you know, actions as well on a daily basis. So that spark is there at the moment, and people are interested in making better choices in terms of the food that they put into their body. And also I've seen in a place like Folkestone, obviously it's really picturesque, but more people are getting out, taking advantage of being able to get outdoors, to walk, to run. I think it's something that affects our lives as individuals, you know, as people. We all are affected by, you know, what we eat and how much exercise or how little exercise we tend to do. So it's something that's very personal to every individual. So from a business perspective, we just hope we can create a plate of food that takes the thought process away from the customer, that allows them to come in and eat in a guilt-free way. If they're worried about too much sugar, we like to use less sugar in certain things that we do, or if they're worried about certain amounts of fat, we'd use alternative fats like rapeseed oil, for instance. So it's really about making that connection with the customer as an individual, and really assessing what their needs are as well, and how we can, you know, create some food for them.
Yeah, definitely. It's brilliant.
Yeah.
So it sounds like you're doing great things, and I love the fact that, exactly like you said, this is a big thing at the moment. People are becoming more aware about their food choices and wanting to be sustainable. And I love that you guys, both of you, have clearly gone, we've got a responsibility and we want to be, we have a role to play in helping people with that. Where did that inspiration come from for you personally to go, I am the one that's going to put my hand up and be the one that is part of making a difference?
Well, I mean, I don't think it was intentionally from the perspective of necessarily me wanting to make a difference in other people's lives. I think it started really with myself and kind of looking at certain choices I was making in my own life. I was doing a fashion degree at the time, and sustainability in fashion was something that I'm extremely interested in my time outside of Dr Legumes. So it was really just about looking at myself from an outsider's perspective, and really looking at being true to what I was trying to achieve in my own life. Like I said, it's a fun concept, Dr Legumes. It's very inclusive to everyone out there. We try and make it fun. So, you know, it was really a no-brainer to kind of put the previous 16 years of cooking experience that I had into something that was, you know, fun and interesting.
Definitely. And I really like that you guys are both the walking, talking example of the values that you bring to this business. And then it's natural, it's just going to flow out, and other people are going to be inspired and educated along the way. Yeah,
very much so. I mean, you know, from Jim's perspective as well, he loves being able to repurpose and use wood in a different way. So with the guidance of a friend of ours, Jeremy, who helped us out, you know, a lot during the build of our container, repurposing it, we made use of a lot of old varieties of wood that were down at the harbour that wasn't going to be used, that would have just been thrown away. And we repurposed that in a way where we felt that obviously the elements of sustainability that we're putting across as a business, there needs to be some kind of authenticity to that. So as a tangible something for people to look at and hold, you know, that is there, that kind of tells the story not only of our business, but also, you know, the history of the harbour arm where we find ourselves.
Definitely. Awesome. Okay, so if people out there, you're down on the harbour arm, so if people want to come and see you, but you mentioned a few workshops, other things that were going on. Just a little teaser, what would be the one thing, if people are going to get involved in something you're doing, you've got coming up, what would it be?
So the sort of projects we've got coming up in future is based around, again, health and well-being, and collaborative efforts with other groups and individuals. An interesting project we have coming up is one with Foreman and Jones, who are herbal practitioners from down in Hythe, a herbal practitioner and a nutritionalist. They're also a pair. And what we're doing with them is really highlighting energy-rich foods and how we can use that to start our day off with. So we're structuring a workshop that is based around brunch and how that could have a positive impact on health and well-being too.
Brilliant. Sounds awesome. Okay, so if people want to stay in the loop about all the stuff you've got going on, where can they find you online?
I mean, the most up-to-date, obviously, are social media outlets. So our Instagram, which is Dr Legumes on Instagram. That's DRLEUGMES. The same on Facebook, Dr Legumes. And then if anyone wanted to get in contact with us at the moment, if, you know, again, we've spoken to so many interesting people merely from taking the opportunity to speak to people. So yeah, if anyone wanted to contact us, they could contact us on drlegumes@gmail.com, and we'll be more than happy to converse with anyone or answer any questions anyone has.
Brilliant. Lee, thank you very much indeed. It's been
Awesome.
wonderful chatting.
Thank you very much. Cheers.
And thank you very much out there, our audience, for being here today. I want to say a big thank you to the Grand Folkestone for being our wonderful host tonight, and also to our sponsors, the Glass Whiteboard Company, and to our contributors. They are Hacks from Prisma Broadcast. We have Warren from Flourish and Aaron from 6-2. And our wonderful crew, we have Maddie, Hannah, Harry and Gary. And if you out there would like to be involved in the Big Idea Show in any way, then please do get in touch. Maybe you've got an idea, or someone you know has an idea or project helping the community that they could come and talk about on this show. And likewise, if you can help us share the show, get it out to more people, that would be wonderful. I want to say a big thank you to everyone for joining us tonight, and I'll see you soon.